Hi there everyone, this is Casual Chats here, and as teased in my Hot to Explain video, I'm going to be talking about the power system in JJK, known as Cursed Energy. Cursed Energy is basically something that every human, apart from a very few rare circumstances, are born with, and it stems from negative emotions like fear, anger, etc. Although every human is born with cursed energy, there is a very rare circumstance where someone is born with a high amount of cursed energy. The way to know if someone is born with a high amount of cursed energy is if they are able to see what's known as cursed spirits or curses. Quick explanation on cursed spirits: they are basically an abundance of cursed energy leaked from someone, creating this cursed spirit. Now this can be leaked from someone or multiple people, and obviously the more cursed energy leaked out, the stronger this cursed spirit is. Also, in some cases, someone who is not trained can inflict a curse on another human, but usually that takes one with an exceptionally high amount of cursed energy to do so. Anyways, using this abundance of cursed energy, people are able to train and harness it to be able to power up their stats, whether it be their speed, strength, durability, etc. Usually one would train to harness this at what's known as a Jujutsu school, and people who train to harness their cursed energy, these people are known as Jujutsu sorcerers. Also, objects can also be infused with cursed energy, allowing even non-sorcerers to fight curses with them. Before getting into the specifics, I will quickly just say that Jujutsu sorcerers have a grading system on Jujutsu sorcerers and cursed spirits. As you can see, the grades for sorcerers are a bit higher than the grades of curses, and that is because Jujutsu sorcerers are expected to be able to beat curses at their grade level. So for example, a grade 2 sorcerer is more on the level of a grade 1 spirit and is stronger than grade 2 spirits, for example. The only exception to this is special grade, which is the strongest grade, but that's only because there's just so much variety in special grade that it's unknown even amongst other special grades if one can beat the other. With all that being said, let's get into what we can do with this abundance of cursed energy. First up, we have cursed energy perception. Basically, this is the baseline for being a sorcerer, and that is being able to see and sense curses and cursed energy. Learning to master your detection skills has many different benefits, such as having a general gauge on the strength of an opponent, being able to predict someone's movements due to reading their cursed energy, etc. Things like this, however, can be countered if you are facing someone who is exceptionally skilled or someone who is a strong Jujutsu sorcerer or curse, so keep that in mind. Also, Jujutsu tends to leave residual cursed energy even in footsteps, so you could even detect those if your perception is high enough. But you can also learn to hide that as well. Next up, we have cursed energy manipulation, the ability to control the flow of one's cursed energy and channel it to carry out certain functions. This is when you actually train to harness and control your cursed energy to be able to actually use it. At first, one won't be able to actually use their cursed energy at will, apart from a few geniuses. It usually takes both innate skill and vigorous training to do so. Remember, cursed energy is derived from negative emotion, so typically a beginner won't be able to use cursed energy unless they have a high amount of negative emotion, like if they are more scared or angrier than usual, etc. But with enough training, one can learn to harness their cursed energy even without having those strong negative feelings. Something that's important to keep in mind is that proper control over one's emotions is key to channeling cursed energy, and every Jujutsu sorcerer is trained to do so. This makes it so that sorcerers don't waste their energy even while they're overcome with big emotion. Example of this being Yuji training to control his emotions and his cursed energy at the same time while he was watching movies and stuff, and Yuta training to control his massive amount of cursed energy by constantly imbuing it into a katana without it breaking due to the amount of cursed energy he's embedding upon it. One last thing to go over is that one must learn how to make their cursed energy flow very naturally throughout their body. By doing this, elite Jujutsu sorcerers are difficult to read because they have their cursed energy evenly distributed across their body. So it's really hard to see where their cursed energy is being concentrated, therefore it's hard to read their movements. Now that you've learned how to control your cursed energy, let's see the different ways this can be applied. The first way is typically something one learns first, and that is applying cursed energy to oneself and object, making themselves or the object stronger, more durable, faster, etc. Another way is using what's known as your curse technique. Curse technique is something one is born with, and it is usually a unique technique that a Jujutsu sorcerer has, which they can power up with cursed energy. Keep in mind, you have to be born with a cursed technique. This isn't some special technique that you make on your own or you make using cursed energy. You are born with a cursed technique, and if you aren't born with one, then too bad for you, I guess. That doesn't mean though that you are useless. Okay, just because you don't have a cursed technique, that does not mean you are useless. Like I said, you can still use cursed energy to be strong, such as people like Yuji and Kusakabe, who are both grade 1 level sorcerers even without an innate cursed technique. But having a technique is very useful, and it is something one would rather have than not have, obviously. Next up, we have restrictions. A way to power up yourself or your curse technique is to use something called restrictions. Think of it as similar to Nen and their conditions. Basically, one places a rule on themselves, and in exchange, they get something back, usually something that boosts themselves in some way. The greater the risk to the user, the more their cursed energy will react to this restriction. The easiest example of this I can give is known as revealing one's hand. Basically, if one explains their power to the opponent, in return, their technique becomes more effective. Also, you could do something known as a binding vow, which is even more like a contract than something like revealing one's hand. The easiest example I can give is Nanami, where his binding vow is known as overtime. Basically, he only uses 80% of his cursed energy output when he works his normal 9 to 5, but if he works overtime, so beyond 5 o'clock, then his cursed energy increases up to 120%. Before moving on, I will briefly go over something known as a heavenly restriction. Basically, this is a restriction placed upon you at birth, so you can't control it. So as usual with restrictions, something negative happens to you, but in return, you get something good. Some are better than others, I have to admit. The most popular example I can give is Toji. He was born with absolutely zero cursed energy, but in return, he has superhuman physical stats and senses. Another example I can give is someone like Mekamaru, who was born with the opposite. He was born with a horrible body, like everything hurts, etc., he can't move, but in exchange, he has a large amount of cursed energy. Another way cursed energy can be applied is something called reversed cursed energy. Basically, it's using cursed energy, but reversed. So basically, while cursed energy is negative energy, reverse cursed energy is positive energy. Basically, to do this, one must take two sources of cursed energy and multiply them together to create positive cursed energy. It's like how when you multiply two negatives together, it creates a positive. It's the same thing. Now you may wonder, how would one even do that? Good question. Well, the answer is, we don't know. We know it requires a lot of skill, talent, and precision with cursed energy to do it, but other than that, we don't really know how to actually do it. Which makes sense because doing it in the show is really difficult. So difficult, in fact, that in the anime, we only know of 5 people who are able to use it, and 4 of them are special grade, and 1 of them is someone who was born with a specialization to do it. Anyways, using reverse cursed energy does have 2 very notable uses besides being really effective against curses due to them being pure negative energy and reverse curse technique being positive energy. The first use is being able to heal people. This is known as reversed curse technique. Cursed energy can't be used to heal people due to it being negative energy, but reversed cursed energy can due to it being positive energy. We've only seen of 2 people in the show being able to heal other people that's not themselves using reverse curse technique, and that is Shoko and Yuta. So it is a very rare ability, so rare in fact that Jujutsu High makes it a point to keep Shoko away from any danger or fighting due to this ability being so rare. The second way this can be used is something known as Curse Technique Reversal. I know that sounds kind of confusing, but basically Curse Technique Reversal is your curse technique, but the opposite of it. So remember, reverse curse technique equals healing, while curse technique reversal equals your curse technique, but opposite. The easiest example I can give of this is Gojo. His curse technique is blue, which is the power to attract. But his curse technique reversal is known as red, which is the power to repel. The final thing I'm going to get into are known as barriers. Basically, barriers that are casted using cursed energy are what you expect. They're zones, basically, used for a number of things, whether it be to trap curses or people inside a space, prevent them from entering one, hide things so that non-sorcerers can't see what's going on inside, etc. But the coolest use for this is known as domain expansions, which is widely considered in the verse to be the pinnacle of Jujutsu sorcery. It's basically a barrier that is imbued with the user's curse technique. Only a few people are able to do this, and usually they are special grade. Basically, the point of this is that when one casts their domain expansion, not only do their abilities increase, but they are also given a guaranteed hit. So no matter what technique you choose to implement in your domain expansion, it is guaranteed to hit your opponent. Whew, so that's the basics of cursed energy, and trust me when I tell you, that's only the basics. But if you'd like to learn more, be sure to let me know in the comment section below, and subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed the content. Also, if you can, I encourage you to check out the other videos in my channel, and as always, have a great day.